Good day guys, Victifreak here and welcome back to another drawing tutorial. And today we will be drawing Cosmog, a Pokemon that was newly introduced in the Pokemon Sun and Moon games and arguably the greatest Pokemon meme to ever exist. Alright, now, here are the tools that you'll need. Today I'll be drawing this drawing with Copic markers. Now this is entirely up to you whether you want to color in with markers or color pencils, or maybe you don't want to color in at all. Maybe you just want to use pencil and not outline, just a pure pencil drawing. That's fine as well. Now if you want to draw with normal markers, this technique I'm going to be using today some would work, but normal markers most likely wouldn't be able to do what these Copic markers do, which is blending, which I thought would look very nice in this drawing of Cosmog, just because there's a lot of blending color in Cosmog. So yeah, so I'm gonna be using Copic markers today. Now here are the colors you'll need, not many actually. So you will need this very lightish yellow, almost creamish color, and you will need this dark gray, not black, just a bit of a it's like a dark gray with a bit of a bluish tint, I guess. And there's two blues here. There's a just a regular dark blue, almost it's not really grayish, but it's just a normal dark blue. And here is just a normal, it's not light blue, it's not dark, no, it's not light blue, it's not dark blue either, it's just like normal blue, I guess. Just a bright normal blue. We also have three purplish pink colors. So first of all, this is just a normal pink color, pretty bright actually. And then there's this slightly dark, this pretty grayish dark purple color. And then this middle one, it's a color that's pretty much in between these two colors. We won't really use this much, it's just to help blend between these two colors, just because they're quite different. So this is just an extra color, totally up to you whether you want to use this or not. And also, if you are using Copic markers, maybe I'll just say what markers I'll be using specifically. So here we have the pink, which is the RV04, and the two purples, the lighter one to blend will be the V04, and the darker purple is the V15. And then there's the two blues. The dark blue is a B29 and the normal blue is a B24. The numbers aren't actually that different, but the actual darkness is actually quite big in difference. And the grayish color is the blue the BV29. And then there's the Y00, which is the lightest yellow color you can get. So yeah, these are the only colors you'll need. There is close to no shading, or not even close to no, like pretty much no shading in this drawing at all whatsoever. And of course we have the pencil, my mechanical pencil, doesn't have to be mechanical, and a rubber. And I have my Copic outliner here. So this Copic outliner is what I'll be using today specifically, because with my other drawings, I'm sure if you've seen them you'd know that. So I use normally this outliner. It's just a regular outliner, but the thing with this one is, since it's not specifically Copic, it often bleeds. So when I color in next to this outliner, it would often bleed out, and that's not very good obviously. So I'll be using this Copic outliner, and I'm also gonna have this normal outliner just in case I want to go over the outline again once I finish coloring in, maybe because I made a bit of a mistake and it kinda went out of the line, or who knows, maybe I want to make the line a little darker again. I'll be using this one just specifically because I don't want to waste this one too much, because I only use this when I really need it, when I'm drawing with a Copic marker. So yeah, this will be probably the very last thing we do, or maybe it's not the very last thing we'll do, because I am also going to use this whiteout, which you can choose to use the if I can find it here, just a normal pen styled whiteout. Although I specifically will be using this just a little sharp, like a toothpick sort of, so I can dip this into the whiteout and make these really fine, more detailed, I guess, white spots. Just because with this one often you're gonna make some pretty big blotches, so it's hard to get the really thin lines. But if you don't have anything like this, you could even use like a pen that has no ink. As long as it's sharp at the end and you can dip it into some whiteout, then that's fine. So yeah, I'll be using this whiteout and this little toothpick here at the end, and that is everything. So now let's just get onto the drawing. So let's see, we're just gonna have Cosmog just right in the middle of the page. Maybe first off we'll start off with having about half the page, maybe the bottom half, maybe a little more than half. We're just gonna have a circle, and we're also gonna have 2 circles up here on each side, and just a line that connects through them, and that will be pretty much the relative shape. There isn't really much detail to this Pokemon at all, so yeah, we'll just do that. Alright, so the little ball at the top to the left of us is going to be slightly bigger than the one to the right, and also it's gonna be a little more elevated just because it's gonna be facing a bit towards the right. So this is gonna be facing us more compared to this one. So obviously it's gonna look slightly bigger, and yeah, it's gonna be a little higher than this one. Maybe make this even a little smaller, just because it's a little further away. There we go. And now let's see. There's also gonna be a bit of a, I guess it's kind of like a golden spike sort of, kinda. It just goes around. You know what, let's just draw and pretend that we can actually see through Cosmog, just so we can get the shape pretty accurate. Something like that maybe. So don't finish the line actually going completely vertical. It's still gonna be going sideways a little. And yeah, I'm hoping that yeah, you can barely see the bottom here. You can just see the edge, so I'm gonna make the actual drawing a little smaller maybe, just so you can see the whole thing. Yeah. Alright, so let's just add in lines to show which how he's facing exactly. So just have, actually no, that's not really the middle. So the middle of his face will just be pretty much exactly in the middle actually. So he's not really facing up or down, just pretty much straight. Yeah, seems about right. So you want to have this little spike thing pretty much go straight into the middle of his face pretty much. So I'm just gonna make this circle a little smaller, just so that you can see the whole thing. There we go, something like that. And we'll just have another circle in the middle. This is where his face is gonna be. So it's fairly big, I guess. Alright, looks pretty good. And let's see. Now, yeah, let's just move on to, actually no, just before we do that, let's just add some thickness to it, so to these lines. Now it's not going to be going out completely and just going to be one line, it just goes inside pretty much straight. Same goes for this one, although you can kind of curve a bit like that. Something like that. It's good enough for now. Alright, now I think we want to get the actual shape, because, yeah, like I said, this Pokemon isn't very detailed at all, so it's not gonna really take much. This is a pretty beginner level Pokemon to draw, in my opinion. Although that, I guess, is completely biased, just, you know, just a biased opinion, I guess. But, yeah, so let's just get the actual shape, so we can erase this line now, because it's gonna be behind the Pokemon, so you can't see it, like that. And we'll add in the actual shape, so it's gonna be almost like a cloudy shape, obviously. It's gonna be very cloud-like, just a lot of lumps and just squiggly kinda smooth lines, I guess. And then this little part here is a very sharp kinda spike, something like that. Alright, and so yeah, same goes for the face as well. It's a very cloud-like, bumpy shape, and we'll draw the actual inside of the face later, so let's just get the relative shape and then we'll move on. Alright, so that is the actual shape of Cosmog, and now let's just add a little few things. So around like the ears, or whatever you like to call these little puffs on its head, are these little, you know, parts that float around him, almost like a little piece of cloud, because he's like a little cloud thing, I think, little space cloud. So there's a little thing here, little piece, and there's gonna be another one here and a small one here. There we go, something like that, looks pretty good. And so, let's see, now maybe we'll just do the face, shall we? So with the face, it's a very simple face. So there's gonna be little cheeks here, an eye, and a mouth. So with the eyes, it's just pretty much right in the middle of these. So these little lumps, just draw a line, a curved line that goes from one of these to the other. And it's just gonna be around here. And make sure it's leaning a bit this way, just because he's facing, he isn't facing completely straight, of course. So it's gonna be leaning slightly. There we go. And this is gonna be a cheek, big round cheek, right here. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a little leaning as well. It's actually a bit more of an oval. It's not a complete circle, but it's barely an oval, a bit more narrow. There we go. And then there's the mouth. So the mouth is just right here. Open. Bit of a gasp, like kind of mouth. Or more like a I guess. If that makes sense at all. I don't know. So just gonna be like this. Something like that, and then he's gonna have a tongue. Maybe I think I want to make the eyes a little lower, just put them a little closer within the rest of everything. So just around here. Alright, so seems about right. I think this is looking pretty good. And so I think we might already be up to outlining. Just very fast. It's only been about 30 minutes and we're already up to outlining. So yeah, this is very good progress. We are doing very well. But even though we did do this very quickly, I think that the Copic markers will probably take the most time, just because I need to be really careful with blending and making sure that I don't accidentally go over the line. So that's gonna take a bit of time, although obviously you don't have to be using Copic markers. You could be using pencil, or maybe just not coloring at all, so that's fine as well. But me, I'll be using Copic, so that will probably take the most time. But anyway, first of all, I might just wash my hands once so I can get all of the graphite off my hands, just so it doesn't smudge. And I'll probably get a tissue as well, so I can have that under my hand for when I outline, so I don't smudge again later. And so I'm just gonna wash my hands once I get back. So I'll just rub everything out lightly so I know what I outlined and what I didn't. And yeah, once I finish that, I'll just once again rub everything out on the page that is pencil. Obviously, I'll need to let the outliner dry a little so it doesn't smudge, so you should do that as well. And once I finish rubbing everything out after the outliner, then we can get on to the coloring. Okay, so we're gonna start coloring in now, and first of all we're gonna start with the yellow, the Y00 Copic marker. So like I said already like several times, doesn't have to be drawn with a marker, you could go pencil if you want to. So you just need a light yellow color, that is all you need. And we are starting with this color specifically just because it is a very light color. For now, let's just do these spikes here. We'll fill that in, and then we'll do the face later. We're gonna go with the actual body first, second, after we do this part, and then we'll do the face last. So we are going to do this just because it is the lighter color, and if we accidentally go past the line inside, since the other colors are slightly darker, we can go over it and you won't be able to tell the difference. So generally with Copic markers, you want to go from the lighter color to the darker one, just in case you mess up and you want to cover it up. So yeah, I'm just gonna do this really quickly and I'll explain the rest later. Alright, so that's it with that. We're done with the yellow, and I did add a bit of shaded area, which is just this area. So I just, once it dried, I would just go over it to make it a bit darker, but it's barely noticeable in the actual drawing, and you don't really, or the actual image. And this is just something you can add if you really want to. It's not necessarily at all. It's just a little nice thing that you might want to add. And now we're gonna add onto the actual body, I guess. And so this is where things will get difficult. This is probably the most difficult bit of the whole drawing, and that is the blending. Alright, so basically I have to do all of this in one go, one shot. I can't really stop to talk, so I'll just explain everything and do it all at once. Why, you may be asking, is because Copic markers are an alcohol-based marker, and blending is much easier when it's still wet. So once it dries, it becomes really difficult to blend, especially with this paper. This is just normal printing paper, so it's nothing special. And so yeah, I need to do this while it's still wet, so basically I gotta do it all at once. So I will explain everything that you have to do. So first of all, there's the light pink, the very bright pink. That is just around the bottom, so that would be just around here, just the bottom bit here. That's it. And then what I do next is not the middle color between this and the grayish purple, but I just take the grayish purple, and that's gonna be around from between the pink and around the middle of the rest here. So fill that in, and I'll take the color that goes between these two and just use that to help blend, and I get the light color again to blend that in again. So basically this might sound a little confusing, and maybe it is for some of you, but basically imagine that well, actually no, this is totally optional, the middle color. This is only if you really want to. But normally what you want to do with Copic markers, so I'll just represent this as 1 and this is 2. So I would color in with 1, and then the next color would be 2, and I go back to 1 to blend between or to blend into the colors. So you always want to use the lighter color to help blend, never the darker color, because that would just go over the light color. So if this was 1, 2, and imagine that we didn't have this and we just went straight to blue, which is 3. So the order that you would color in, or the order you would use, is 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, if that makes sense. Maybe it might be a little confusing to you, and I don't blame you, this is quite confusing. So anyway, this is gonna be around here, and this color will be from the middle to the pink. We'll just have this to help blend, I'll just put that there. And then the dark blue will be around here, so around this area down towards the purple, we will have the dark blue, and the rest will be with a light blue. So that's everything here, and this will also fill in these little cloud bits that are coming out. And then, yeah, so that's all we have to do in one shot, and then we'll move on to probably the face. Alright. Okay, that's it with this bit. So we're done with these colors now. Well, not all of them, but a few of them. So this is fine. And now you can see that it has bled out of past the line on the inside a bit, but that's fine because this color is much darker than any of these, and you won't be able to tell that this bled before once we go over with this color. So yeah, that's fine. And you can tell that you can see that places like here it bled out a bit, which is, I guess, a bit of a problem. I wonder if I could just try to push it back in using the just the zero colorless blender. That would just help me push it back in a bit, just a little bit, not much. But yeah, like I said, I'll probably use the normal outliner later to just go over the outlining a little, make it a little bit thicker maybe, and just fix some stuff up last. That's the very last thing to do. And so now I think I'll just fill in the face. So here are the things that we'll be doing. So there won't be anything that to be blended in here. This is the only part that needs to be blended, and it is the most difficult bit. So we are done with the most difficult bit. So we're gonna use the light yellow color again, except fill in the eyes. And we're also gonna have the same color we use this for, which is the blue, and fill in the cheeks. And we also have the pink, which we use down here to fill in the inside of the mouth. Oh, also again the yellow to do the tongue. And then lastly, once we finished all those things, then we will use the almost black color to fill in the rest. And then once we finish that, we'll probably outline, and actually the last thing is probably going to be the whiteout instead of the outlining, and then we should be done. Alright, that's looking pretty good. So now we'll just move on to the normal outliner, because some parts have bled out and I want to make the outliner a little thicker so that we can hide the bleeding bit. So I'm gonna do that, and once we finish that, then we'll move on to the whiteout, and then we'll be done. Okay, so that's it with the little touch-ups with the outline. So now we can move on to the last step, which is whiteout with this little, not little at all, toothpick. So what I like to do with this is I'm just gonna shake this. This is just the normal bottle of whiteout, the one with a little brush at the end. So we're not gonna use the brush. I'm just gonna try to squeeze out all the whiteout inside the brush, back into the little container. Alright, and I'll just put this on the side over here. And I just have a little piece of paper here. And just put that away. And I'm gonna get some whiteout. Just gonna dip this in and get a few splodges onto this piece of paper, like so, right here. And I'm just gonna dip that, and I have my little bit of whiteout. If you can see, focus on that. Alright, so I have my whiteout on my little toothpick here, and we're just gonna have some little star marks. So maybe, you know what I can do? With the big one, with the big little star, we can just add a little drop of whiteout, just like that. There we go. You can just do that, spread it using the little toothpick, and like so. That took a little longer than expected, but that's fine. And there's gonna be, so there's two stars on this side. There's one more around here. And then there's two more over here as well. One fairly big one there and a small one. And there's a few dots around. Okay, so that's it. That took longer than I thought it would. It was, for my first time, I think, a pretty good result using this little, what's it, toothpick? It's not really little, but yeah. So that took much longer than I thought it would. It was pretty difficult, and I think if I keep trying, I will get much better, and I think I can make some really nice stuff with it. Alright, so now we can just if we can just write the name somewhere. I have a lot of white on my hands. That was also messier than I thought it would be. Just write it here, shall we? Cosmog. Alright, that C kinda looks like a G, but oh well, so that's it. Be sure to hit that like button down below if you enjoyed this drawing tutorial, and tell me if you drew along with me and if you liked the end result of your drawing. And you can even follow me on Twitter, and over on my Twitter page you can even tweet me a photo of the drawing that you have made along with me. Also, you can be sure to comment down below what Pokemon you'd like me to draw in future drawing tutorials, and hopefully that will in the future get onto one of my polls over on my Twitter page and my Pokemino page. And be sure to subscribe if you like to keep up to date to those amazing future videos, and as usual I will see all of you beautiful people next time.